I'm going to give you another trade recap so that you have a better idea as to what Stockminds provides. Of course, you can see the trades that I post that are good trades, but what can you realistically expect? So I'm going to try to show you the day after, so the next day, so 2 sequential days gives you a better idea as to what Stockminds provides. Okay, so here's what I have for the Stockminds platform. We had 7 total tickers, which is a lot more than usual. Typically it's 3 or 4, sometimes even 2 tickers per day, but we had a few come up last minute. So we had a total of 7 tickers that came up. And as you can see, ASNS was a loss, but if you look at some of them, they were also good winners. So if you look at the trades page, you can get a better idea as to all of them that came up. So we had quite a few that, and there are quite a few in this list that might not have necessarily been on the premium page, but overall, even the medium rating did really well. So the high and medium typically do quite well, and then the low and poor are more unreliable. But when it comes to having a loss and having some of the gains that we get, sure, you can see that some of the trades are plus 20 or plus 30% on the trade. It hit all 4 profit prices, but sometimes the prediction isn't right, so you end up getting a loss. So you can see here that the losses are around 4, 3, 5%. So on average, they're significantly lower than the profits. And that's what allows you to make more losing trades and still be successful, even though Stockminds still provides trades where the majority are winners. So if we take a look at some of the trades that came up, ASNS, we had, it was more likely to move up at the open, and it didn't. So it stopped out, lost 3%. That's not too bad. GOVX, it was predicted to move down at the open, close to a 50-50, but move down at the open to around 127, 118. So that's what it was predicted to do. And then it said to buy at 133 and then sell at those profits, stop loss 127. So if we take a look at what GOVX ended up doing, this came up in the pre-market. So it came up somewhere in here before the market even opened. And then what ended up happening, it came down as anticipated. It came down lower than what was predicted. So it came down to 110, but it still came down. And then the way that the move down strategy works is you wait for it to come down to within that range, so below 132, and then you buy when it comes back up to the entry price. And what ended up happening, it came down to below 132. It never came back up to 133. And then even though it said the prediction, or it said that typically this would happen in the first hour or 2 of the day, sometimes the prediction ends up following through, but it doesn't quite happen at the times that Stockminds predicts, which is expected. You're trying to predict the future. But it ended up coming back up to above 133. It never ended up, this spike down to 127. That's because even if it happened quickly, you could have had another entry, but realistically that would not have executed the stop, or your stop wouldn't have been entered because it all happened within 1 candle. But regardless, it ended up coming back up to, the 4th profit was 223. It came right up to 223. That's almost the top of the move. Yeah, so that one was a very solid 36% gain. And then we had MLGO, also a losing trade. It was predicted to move down at the open. It moved down, and obviously it stopped out. So that was a small loss. Nothing too special there. GWAV also had a loss, and this one was slightly bigger, but it is lower on the scale. So if you look at the overall probabilities of all of them, GWAV or GWAV 55%, and ideally you want to be trading the one with the highest probability. So in this case, it would have been either ASNS, which would have been a loss, GOVX would have been a good profit, and then you would have had MLGO, which would have been a loss, and then next up would be CMTL. So GWAV was not necessarily a top pick, so it wasn't really ideal. And if you're looking at the alternative trades as well, it's also rated low or medium, and it's lower on the list, so it's not an ideal trade in terms of what's coming up, but it's still a trade. It's still an opportunity that didn't end up panning out. So it was predicted to move up, and it didn't move up, and it stopped out, plain and simple. And then CMTL was a great one, 2 very profitable trades. Even though it is ranked poor, and it has a lower rating, it is still a high probability of moving up at least 10% from the market open. And Stockminds still provides a trade regardless. So from the market open, it's predicted to move up. It spiked straight up. We had a stop at 284, did not even come and hit the 284. You can see down here, this is the trade. Stop loss 284, buy it at the open. So you would have been buying it right here, stop down here, and then it hit all the profits. 426 was the final profit, which is right up at the top of the move, taking profits along the way, and then I believe it came up close again. So you could have potentially entered again because it's predicted to move up to that price. Well, actually it moved a little bit above. The high was 371 for the move up, but then it was predicted after that move up to come back down. So it ended up coming back down to right within range, predicted to come back down to 309. It came to 305 and then spike right back up again, and it did that. So Stockminds provides 2 trades there, but is that all you have to do, or do you have to follow those? No. You could have traded one of the Stockminds trades that are provided, the move up, and then noticed, okay, it's following this movement quite well. I could buy it when it comes back down to below 309, or scale the movements accordingly, because obviously it went up higher than what it was predicted to move. It's probably not going to come down as low, which it didn't quite. It came just barely within range. So that was another trade where you could have made another 30 or 20%. And that was the move up. But then let's say you thought it was coming down, or you were using method 2 or one of the other strategies that Stockminds has. It ended up coming down to, it was predicted to come down to 283, came down to 290. So you would have, and the high of that was 290. So you would have technically had another entry there. So you could have traded either of these trades and still been profitable. And if you, let's say you want to risk $50 for your stop loss hits, you want to lose $50. Then you would have made 200, which is not bad. And then if you wanted to trade the move down, you would have made 315, which is also not bad. Now this, and then obviously you could have made more if you just used one profit instead of breaking it up into multiple profits, but that's to, over the long run, have more returns. So on to MBIO. I don't think it was very, so MBIO had a successful trade, it's saying. So MBIO, it was predicted to move down at the open, heavily leaning towards the move down. So it's saying to buy at 96 cents and a stop at 93. And it's saying come down to, it's going to come down to roughly 92 cents, at least below 95 cents. So here is when it comes within range. It comes down, it is now within range on that candle right there, 932. If I zoom in a bit. So it comes down, it's within range right here. And then it hits 90 cents, which still right within range. And then if it comes back up to 96, you buy. So it came back up to 96, that's when you would buy. And then it had profit 1, 2, I'm looking at these ones, profit 1 was hit, profit 2 was hit, and profit 3 was hit. It peaked at 130. So very solid 12.5% gain. Then that's if you raise your stop up to break even on your remaining shares. You can profit even more if you raise your stop up to the previous profit price. Lots of different ways that you can trade, but regardless, it was predicted to move down. It moved down, and you had a solid 12% return. SILK, another one that wasn't too fancy. SILK was predicted to move up at the open. It did move up. So it's predicted to move up at the open, buy it at the open, sell it at 28. So it never ended up hitting any of the profits because they're way out of range. It didn't end up moving much at all because it's a larger market cap stock, but it ended up coming up because there was potential, and it ended up just being, it ended up stopping out. So it wasn't anything crazy. So there you have it. Overall, out of the predicted trades, we had a -3, we had a +36, we had a load. We had, this one was predicted to move down, and it stopped out. So we had a -5 on MLGO, GWAV. We had a -8 if you took that one. CMTL +20, or you could have traded the other one for a +17. MBIO +12, moved as predicted, and then a -3 if you traded it the other way, but it was heavily leaning towards moving down, so or way more likely to move down, so that would have been the trade you should have taken. And then SILK -5 was predicted to move up, and it just never hit a profit. So overall, very successful. There are lots of potential trades. Some strategies might not have even traded yesterday. Today's a holiday. It's June 19th, so it's a US holiday, but the previous video I posted was from the day before, so I'm just giving you back-to-back days, and I figure since the market's not open, might as well record a video. So yeah, there you have it. You could have not traded today because nothing was really ranked high, but as you can see here, all of them are quite profitable, aside from poor, but sometimes, you know, they perform quite well. But yeah, so hopefully that gives you a better idea as to what can come up on Stockminds. Every day isn't a +70% return, but every day there are lots of opportunities, or usually there are lots of opportunities for successful trades. And the prices to buy and sell are always provided before the market open. And we're working on new features to provide even more trades, or trades for other strategies. So yeah, thanks for watching.